Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why the media is being completely unfair to the NFL.
What's new? And I'm Colin Cowherd. I'll tell you why Steph Curry is completely full of it. Speak for yourself starts now, and not just full of jumpers.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Well, I can't wait to hear that one. All right. Hello and welcome. We're joined today by Super Bowl champ Eric Davis and Cowherd's co-host on The Herd, Christine Leahy. Let's start in Baltimore, where, according to a new report, Ravens head coach John Harbaugh and general manager Ozzie Newsome are in favor of the team signing Colin Kaepernick, but owner Steve Bisciotti has resisted bringing in the controversial quarterback. Ozzie Newsome addressed the report today saying, quote, "We are going through a process and we have not made a decision. Steve Bisciotti has not told us we cannot sign Colin Kaepernick, nor has he blocked the move. Whoever's making those claims is wrong." Cowherd, should Bisciotti have reservations about signing Kaepernick?
Yeah, there's a reason that John Elway brought in Peyton Manning after Tim Tebow, because Tim Tebow was newsworthy, and he was winning, and he was taking over the locker room. And so John Elway sat there, and he thought, who's bigger than Tebow? Like, who's the rock star? Favre's retired, Brady's not leaving, Peyton Manning comes in, and nobody would question it. You got a vanilla quarterback, Joe Flacco, who I mean by any standard.
Personality-wise, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, he makes Eli look riveting. And then you have Kaepernick, who is newsworthy. And here's what I know about the media. They have no restraint. Like, the media's got no restraint because the media's going for clicks and attention.
Bingo.
I'm going to walk into a locker room. Who do you think I'm going to go to?
Bingo. Your point is the entire point. This story is an example of it. ESPN has run this story out there, and I got a lot of respect for ESPN journalistically. This story is journalistically unsound. It's a powerful story with no name on the byline. And then in the first paragraph, it references a reporter with no resume that says that they're a credible source on this issue so explosive. There's desperation from the media for clicks. ESPN has fallen into it. You don't put a story out like this without putting a name on it. You can't go ESPN News Services. So the media have no rules as it relates to Kaepernick. There's no common sense. There's no rules. You can write and say anything. You can jump. I believe Ozzie Newsome. There's been no decision made here, and Steve Bisciotti isn't stopping anything. This is why Kaepernick supporters, all the people caping up for him in irrational fashion, they're the problem. They're the reason you avoid Colin Kaepernick.
Should they have reservations? Yes. Will he be a distraction? Yes. But I actually think of all teams, the Ravens makes the most sense. It puts him in Baltimore, where he can immerse himself in everything that he's trying to stand up for, and I think that that would be a good experience for both parties. I also think the Ravens have openly supported guys who have done pretty terrible things that you can't even compare to anything with Colin Kaepernick, so it actually makes some sense to me.
Making sense and having reservations are the two separate issues right now, because I agree in some aspects, him being there, you have a coach that understands this guy probably better than any other coach. Why? Because his brother coached him. He understands what he's capable of doing, and he can get from his brother what he can't do. So from an X's and O's standpoint, you have all of that. You talk about immersing himself into the causes that he wants to. Baltimore is a good place for it. But you got to have reservations as well, because you're dealing with all the issues that are coming on. The media is going to be there. It is going to be a lot for the other players in the locker room to have to deal with Cap on the team. And if you're really looking at this and thinking about it right now, if you're Baltimore, you really don't trust your quarterbacks. So that's an issue for them. So there are a lot of reservations, because for them to even be considering this, because their quarterback went down and you're saying he's going to be back at the beginning of camp, you don't trust your backups.
Well, that's a really good point, and I've always said that it doesn't make sense to bring Colin Kaepernick in as a true backup that you don't ever expect to see on the field, because he becomes a distraction. But for this case, there's a chance that Flacco might not be able to play for a few games, and you might actually need Kaepernick. And to not want to bring him in also says, hey, we think that all these, like Ryan Mallett's better than Kaepernick. I don't think so.
Ask yourself right now, who is the most talked about quarterback in the NFL?
Oh, we know that, Colin, of course.
Okay. He's not on a team. Like, you think you're going to put him on a team, and the media is going to go, let's put this in context. Yeah. Let's have some restraint. The media can't. Literally, you know what the media is? It's putting ice cream in front of my son and saying, don't eat it. Here's a spoon. The media can't help himself. He is the lead story in America as a marginal player in the off season. and he's unemployed. Like, when he gets a job, this is going to be every Ravens player. What do you think? I'm sorry, I don't want anything to do with it.
It might go away in a couple weeks.
Well,
though.
you know, the only thing that'll make it go away, it'll really go away if he hits the field. He has. That's why he has.
It never goes away.
It'll go away.
No, Eric.
It'll go away.
You can't control the news cycle.
No, you can't control. You can't control the news cycle, but you can control a portion of the narrative if he's actually playing. If he's playing on the field, if he's making plays or not making plays, there's something else to talk about.
But here's the issue: because the media has zero discipline. If in Cincinnati or Albuquerque or
I know where you're going.
Bum Place, Egypt or whatever has a shooting, Colin Kaepernick is now the national spokesman for that issue. And we keep talking, Christine, I get your point. He can immerse himself in the cause in Baltimore. He can move to Baltimore and do that without being on a football team. Because if I'm Steve Bisciotti and I'm those football players on that team, the cause that I want him committed to and immersed in is winning football games.
And also, you say, listen, I think it could go away. Stuff doesn't. LaVar Ball is not going away. The Kardashians have been on the air for 15. I mean, honestly, when I watch the Kardashians, I'm like, okay, this will wrap up. We're a decade into the Kardashians. People that take on social causes and that are kind of magnetic, they don't go away because the media reels them back in because we lack restraint. I mean, there are people in the media, T.O. still ends up on shows.
But I'm going to tell you, this cause right here, it's different. It's different because this is not the Kardashians and this is not LaVar Ball trying to sell himself. The causes that he's fighting for are things that people will sort of brush to the side anyway. That's the one thing. That's what I'm saying. If Cap starts playing, because he's talking about things that are happening to people of color. And if he starts playing, they'll start talking about the football. They really don't want to talk about this anyway.
Got it. But here's the issue with Colin's getting it. LaVar Ball runs his mouth 24/7. The Kardashians are willing to get naked on command and talk and do whatever to draw attention. Colin Kaepernick doesn't even talk, and he's the most talked about person. He hasn't even opened his mouth. It's all the people that are trying to virtue signal and show how supportive they are and how unracist they are and how pro-black they are that are doing all the talking around Colin Kaepernick, and they're not going to stop because it's not really about the agenda. It's about let me virtue signal. Let me show everybody how committed I am.
But that's why the story would end if he actually does sign with a team, because all we're talking about is he's not playing anywhere, and why not?
This is the Speak for Yourself podcast. I am your host, Jason McIntyre. Before we move on, I want to tell you that this podcast is sponsored by Barbasol. The biggest thing to happen to Barbasol since shaving cream is also the only thing to happen to Barbasol since shaving cream. Introducing new Barbasol razors. The brand America trusts for a close, comfortable shave now has premium disposable razors. Barbasol's close shave technology on every razor means you get an advanced pivoting head and ultra-thin open flow blades. The Ultra 6 Plus razor also features a 7th blade, specifically designed to style those tricky areas like under the nose, sideburns, and beard. Visit Barbasol.com and get a $2 savings coupon and see for yourself why Barbasol razors are the #1 new disposable razors out there. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol. Now let's get back to the show.
Let's move to the Jets rookie Jamal Adams, who took a lot of heat from the media this week after saying that the football field would be a perfect place to die. After the backlash, the Jets coach Todd Bowles made Adams clarify his remarks.
You know, I really did not see it, getting that far. You know, I was speaking about, being passionate about the game that I love. I understand that, some families were affected by this disease. I definitely didn't mean it any type of way. My words were simply that I'm very passionate about what I do. I said at the beginning, while you guys were there, that I'm all about making the game safer. I understand, the CTE symptoms and whatnot and what families are affected, but it's simply about passion.
All right, now the New York Daily News has piled on saying players, quote, need to stop making dumb comments, and Goodell needs to admonish players speaking like this regardless of their intentions rather than dismissing it. Whitlock, is the media unfair to the NFL?
Without question. And I have a lot of respect for Gary Myers, but he's fallen into the clickbait trap that we all have. The kid said nothing wrong. He's a kid. He's not a polished broadcaster. He's not a speech maker. He wasn't speaking from a teleprompter. He was trying to convey his passion for football. Anybody with a brain knew that's what he was doing. But because we're the media and we can sensationalize it and we can call family members and say, oh my God, someone said they should die on the field, and then get a quote from a family member who doesn't even know what the kid said or what he was talking about. They're just responding to what you told them. And voila, we got a story, and this kid needs to be put on blast, and Roger Goodell needs to come out and do something about it. It's garbage.
Years ago, this is like 30 years ago, it was in the mid-'70s. You guys remember Howard Cosell? I mean, you've heard of him if you don't remember him.
She doesn't. I do.
No, I hear you talking about him all the time.
Yeah, and Howard Cosell said this years ago, is that, that the media had a great relationship with baseball, therefore promoted it, and the NFL was a television sport, and therefore the media admonished it because it didn't need it. If you look at the American media, they are generally anti-corporation or anti-power, and the NFL now is all power. It is the #1 TV show on 5 networks, and increasingly, the NFL's moving to Silicon Valley. It doesn't need Wall Street. It doesn't need the media, and the media knows that and senses that. And I do think, in my years in covering broadcasting, I'm sensing in the last 2 or 3 years a pro-baseball, a pro-soccer, a pro-NBA media, and a let's jab the NFL every time we can. I feel it.
Well, you guys were just talking about when we were discussing Cap, the media and its wanting to get the hot takes. And right now, the CTE, that's a hot take. So you get a kid that's saying something, and remember, he's a youngster. He's just getting to the game. He doesn't understand. He's not media. This is no knock on anyone's intelligence. It's just thinking about what you say as you get older and how it can, and how those words can be perceived. Right. So my granddaughter all the time will wave her wand and say she's Elsa and close her eyes and expects ice to be there because she doesn't know any better. This guy doesn't know any better as to what he's saying right now. And the media is jumping all over it, taking it out of,
and it's New
out
York.
of context.
No, he didn't say that in Jacksonville. It's New York, so it becomes a big story.
I didn't even have a problem with him saying it, honestly, because it just reminds me of a boxer saying, I would die in the ring because they love the sport. However, I'm going to disagree with you guys. This idea of like a war on the NFL. The NFL is huge. It's not going to be taken down by the media at all. And
No,
Jason,
it won't.
You're a huge component of there needing to be some sort of balance and for journalists to call out big corporations. And that's why we do need the media to talk about things like CTE. And I don't think that is a hot take. I think that there is a reality. And without the media calling the NFL out for it, I don't think the NFL would be doing as much as they are right now to prevent it.
Okay, I get where you're going about that, but I'm just saying from this aspect of it, trying to crucify this kid for what he said, and that's what I'm going to say. It's not unfair of the media, but it's hypocritical. Because you glorify the guys that are saying, you know, you're talking about it, and you'll run promotions about them being warriors and about these guys being soldiers out there on the field. You use all of these analogies to do it, but then when a guy expresses his own opinions about the way a warrior would put himself out there, we know it's not serious. Now you want to all of a sudden get serious about it, and it's just not the right thing to do.
Who am I to tell somebody how to think? There are 18-year-olds who have never realized a dream. They join the services because economically it gets them to a better place, and they're sent to Afghanistan, shot at and shooting, and they ask to go for a second term. And I think it's crazy, and it is their dream and their patriotic right. Who am I to tell you to not go back? Who am I to tell a 21-year-old kid who's given 15 years to football and now he's a millionaire? Who am I to tell him how he perceives his life's journey?
You made a great point. I want to push back one thing on Christine. I'm all for challenging major corporations, and the media should do that. We're falling for the okie doke, in my opinion, with CTE. We have been convinced by the media, because we fall for whatever bait gets thrown out there, that it's this, that it's head collisions. And there's no study being done about the number of drugs that the players take just to play the game and what impact that has on their brain. And so if I'm a big pharmaceutical company, I want them talking about the players are doing it to themselves with these hard collisions. I don't want them talking about the stuff they're ingesting into their body that is doing a lot of damage to their brain and the rest of their body. And so it's the okie-doke. It's the players. It's the hard collisions. It's the helmets. Don't look at us, the pharmaceutical company. That's the okie-doke. The media falls for it all the time. We think we're out championing for players' rights. We've fallen for it again. Let's talk Steph Curry, who made headlines this week when a video surfaced in which Steph appeared to be mocking LeBron James's workout dance videos. Now Steph says everyone's taking the video out of context.
I mean, obviously I didn't know anybody was filming, so when I saw the video, I knew it was going to blow up. It's not something that, if you look at it through the keyhole of just that 20 seconds, you don't really understand what I was doing. I've been, ever since he posted that first video, I've loved it because he made a song that maybe a lot of people wouldn't have known, pretty popular just by posting that video. So he's got me doing the dance.
All right, Colin, do you believe Steph was mocking LeBron?
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I mean, how many people, didn't MJ say something about Kobe's better than LeBron today? So what's the list now in the last 3 weeks? 9 people have taken shots at LeBron? Like, there's a LeBron fatigue going on now. Riley, Phil Jackson, Kyrie, Warriors. Kyrie trolls him on a plane. Kyrie video, Steph. I mean, it's something.
I think that I think he's being honest. I think that when it started out, he was having fun. The first 2 seconds. Then everybody started laughing. And then it turned into, yeah, he was kind of mocking LeBron, but I think it came from a good place. I buy the fact that LeBron did that, and now when he thinks of the song and that dance, it's uplifting, it's kind of funny because that's the,
I don't know if it's uplifting.
Did you see the video?
Have you listened
Just
to the
out?
lyrics?
It had nothing to do. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. If I go like this and you look that way, can you see my phone videotaping you?
Okay.
So you know Steph knew he was being taped.
Yes.
And actually, he did. The face right there we see with LeBron, that's something that Steph did. Now, keep in mind, you know that during that weekend, he and Kyrie talked about some stuff.
Oh, of course.
You know they talked about some. So now you fast forward. Yeah, we may only got 20-second clip of him dancing, but he knew exactly. Come on, he's lifting weights. That's not in the video. That's not in the video.
it's in the moment.
Okay,
No, come on.
I gotta disagree
Come on,
with
Jay.
all of you.
What?
If you listen to this song, right? How do you not dance to it? And when you
I love the track.
But when you think of that song now, you think of LeBron's video, and they even made a thing called the LeBron Challenge. It was a hashtag. And so that's what Steph was doing. It was funny.
Stop it.
And Kyrie
Yes,
was and
stop
it's
it.
funny.
Stop
I'm watching the video
He know
and it's
exactly
funny.
what he was doing. He was
I
doing
watched,
the weights
yes,
and the curls
Yeah.
I
for
watched that
LeBron.
I watched that LeBron video
LeBron.
one time, and now every time that song comes on, I'm like this, you know, because it's an aggressive song, and that's
Because
what I think about.
LeBron did it in the video. It wasn't the original video. That was
Can I also-
LeBron's version of what he
Why-
was getting it in.
Even if he was mocking LeBron, why do we have a problem with that?
I don't have a problem
Do we
with
want them all to be friends?
I love
I'm
the
happy-
storyline
I'm
going into
happy
the
they
season.
hate each other.
If Manning mocked Brady, that wouldn't land well, like at all.
But that's different. NFL,
Okay.
NBA
Why
is
wouldn't it
totally
land
different.
well? Why wouldn't it?
It's also, by the way, it is a compliment that Steph memorized that entire dance that LeBron did. I'd be
You know,
happy
here's
if that
what's
was
funny
LeBron.
to me.
Thanks for watching.
Steph Curry is the adorable puppy of the NBA. That he is. This is Steph Curry. He does the fake dump on the floor, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's just a puppy. He's got so much energy. He's just chewing shoes."
I'd
He
buy
throws
that
his
puppy.
mouthpiece, and it's like, "Oh, he's teething. He's a puppy." Like literally, Steph Curry is so adorable and cute. Anything he does, he throws a mouthpiece. He does the dump thing. He trolls LeBron. It's always like, "Oh, he's adorable."
Oh, so you would rather make blow-up dead bodies to put at your party that you have to walk over? Because that's what LeBron did.
Cookies?
Cookie.
No,
but
a dead body.
You know why I
need a
love
dead
this? You know
Steph
why I love
body.
this? Colin, you're big on this. Storylines. We have so many storylines
Yes.
going into the season that the dead period, that October, November, December, when people are still watching football, not really tuning into NBA basketball, now you have so many things that have happened over the summer that you're going to tune in a little bit more, a little bit earlier to watch NBA. So I love it.
Let's move to Michael Jordan, always a fun topic, who surprised a lot of people yesterday by responding to LaVar Ball's absurd claim that he could beat MJ in a game of one-on-one in basketball. Naturally, Jordan dismissed LaVar, saying, quote, I don't think he could beat me if I was one-legged. Whitlock, did MJ make a mistake even responding to LaVar?
I'm blown away. I can't believe at Michael Jordan's altitude, he would dip down, lower his plane enough so that he could shout out the window, LaVar, you're an idiot. I'm just blown away. I don't beef down. And this is beefing way down. And I know he's probably doing it in fun because Michael's probably got a sense of humor like everybody else. But there's just no way if I'm Michael Jordan, I ever acknowledge LaVar Ball.
Well, it's funny because the comment, first of all, it was like weeks old. I think maybe months old. So it's not irrelevant. Secondly, nobody bought the comment. Like, let's say LaVar had said, my son would crush Michael's son in basketball. A, that's personal because it's kids. And B, it's factual. There's not a person on the planet that when he said that thought, hey, like, why comment on stuff that's not relevant or is just simply ridiculous?
Well, the reason that he talked about it is because it was a little kid asking the question. So I get that that kind of puts him in a weird position, like maybe I don't want to answer, but you're a little kid, so I should give you something. And he could have given him something, but he went into depth about it, and that's where I had a problem. Like, lions don't associate themselves with sheep. You are the GOAT. You are at the very top of the list. LaVar didn't even play in the NBA, so why are you going to his level? You want to be associated with the greats and have your name in those conversations, in those articles, and now you're going to be mentioned in the same columns as LaVar Ball, and you shouldn't be doing that when you're Michael Jordan.
Well, every now and then a lion needs to roar a little bit louder so you know that they're around. But go back to his induction speech in the Hall of Fame when he talked about the high school.
That's him.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example. I was playing summer league in Columbus, Ohio. It was a guy, neighborhood guy. He had a team in the league, and he would always talk about he could beat me. He could beat me. I let it go, let it go. I said, you know what? One-on-one. Went to his backyard. Had all the hood in the backyard playing. I'm watching this. I demolished him. But for me, I didn't have to do it. It was more so for me to prove to him. I said, listen, don't get it twisted what you see on TV. Everybody thinks you watch it on TV, you can compete. I'm going to show you the difference between what you take for fun, I take this for a living. So I didn't have to do it, but my ego at that time, I had to crush him. So I do get it at why Michael responded, and I'm not at all surprised that he said at all.
When you think about it in terms of him and his personality, it does make sense. But where we're coming from is just we think of him as the GOAT and like this mythical legend. But his personality does say that.
Basketball's also, I mean, you would never have a left tackle go to a left tackle. I'm better than you. Let's prove it on the field. You know, basketball, like ball hoop, like you. Basketball's always been that like, I can go one-on-one.
Equalizer.
In baseball, where would you and I go? I pitch to you. In the parking lot, like basketball's universal. I don't even need a hoop. I can have a bucket. You know what I mean? So basketball has a kind of a weird component to it that mono-y-mono thing. Like, I mean, Michael Jordan is, there are a lot of people that have said Michael could still beat LeBron one-on-one. And they've talked about it, and that's just like a fun discussion.
You know what?
They might actually.
I think about this like, you know, if I were ever to go out to gym at a club, a nightclub or something, and he looked across and said, I bet you I could pull that girl, I would laugh it off because I would know, I would have the confidence to know that if there was a competition, Jim Jackson would stand no chance. So I wouldn't even acknowledge it. So
I do think his airness should never reach down to his airheadedness. This was a mismatch in personas and relevance by a mile.
Let's return to the National Basketball Association and Michael Jordan, who made some more news at his flight school basketball camp today. MJ was asked if he ranks LeBron ahead of Kobe all time and said no because, quote, 5 beats 3. Cowherd, do you agree with Jordan that Kobe's better than LeBron?
I mean, is this the 13th shot at LeBron this week?
15.
I mean, seriously.
It's a pinata right now.
This should be, you know how you have like certain holidays and certain weeks and National Hot Dog Day. This is National
Girlfriend Day. Yeah.
Today's National Beat Up and Take Shots at LeBron Week. This is the 4th this week.
I don't know if Michael's piling on here as much as Michael's being petty here. Look, Kobe Bryant impersonated Michael Jordan. So why wouldn't Michael Jordan, my imitation's better than LeBron James, which is absolutely silly. Listen, 4 MVP trophies are better than 1. Doing it as the premier player, winning 3 championships as the premier player on all 3 teams is better than 2. Kobe, the 3 titles he won with Shaq was the better player in my opinion, or the more important player in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, man, I've said this long before LeBron had his 2nd and 3rd titles. He's better than Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
And
this feels petty, and Michael has a history of being petty.
That's not a shot at all, in my opinion, at Kobe Bryant.
Well, Kobe's great.
LeBron Jordan's a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
Yeah, Kobe's after Magic and Jabbar. With the Lakers, he's not even top 2. So how could he be ahead of LeBron? I mean, it's silly. But the best part is if you go on social media today, all these Kobe fans, they're like the Beyonce fans or the Justin Bieber fans. They go crazy. Yeah. Oh, that's what they are, yeah. And they'll come after you. Oh, no, Kobe, look at this, look at this. Like you said, he was a caddy for Shaq for those first 3 titles.
He was.
It's not even close.
Well, I played with Kobe, and the unique part about him was his ability to block out everything else and just go play.
Right.
He was a beast on the court, tough teammate to play with, unlike LeBron. But LeBron from day one, chosen one, Sports Illustrated, it was always going to be hard for him to garner that kind of admiration.
Yes.
Because of that.
People resent it.
People resent it. They may not say it, but they resented it. And plus, he's been able to tip the scales in regards to, I'm more than a basketball player from this perspective when I'm playing. He has control, which other players don't have. They wish they had the control of the marketplace, of the NBA like LeBron does. So when you factor in a lot of things in regards to why you don't like LeBron, it's not just the basketball thing. They're going to try to point to, well, he didn't show up here, he didn't show up there. Guess what? A lot of players didn't show up there. But LeBron's unique ability puts him at the top of the list in regards to Mount Rushmore basketball players.
Here's the one thing. I enjoyed watching Kobe more. I think basketball is a very artistic sport.
You enjoy watching Kobe more than who?
LeBron. I think LeBron's
James?
better. Yeah, LeBron's better. Kobe's more fun to watch. Kobe was the artist. Kobe is the greatest. He's the Phil Mickelson of golf. You love golf. He's the best tough shot maker.
Oh, big time.
Kobe is the best.
He is, big time.
Why are you looking like that? Why don't you turn to me? Whenever you look away from me,
he's in shock.
He's the
better
best
to watch.
tough.
Yes.
He is the
LeBron.
best tough. Phil Mickelson, to me, is one of the most interesting guys to watch. He's the best tough shot maker. I mean, Phil butchers some shots.
Whoa. Let's pump the brake. You know it's a slam dunk league. People love the slam dunk.
Right.
ESPN built SportsCenter around slam dunks.
Right.
LeBron James has dunks out the you-know-what. Kobe's
Kobe. Kobe got some.
When you talk about watch,
Kobe got some
dunks,
great
come
dunks.
on.
But Kobe had
compared to LeBron.
Kobe had some moments in there when you talk about in between game. You talking about tough shots. If I needed a tough 3 at the end of the game and I had Michael, LeBron, or Kobe, definitely I'm going with Kobe. Because he's shown that ability.
What did you say?
A tough 3-point shot, if I needed to get it off and needed somebody to make it at the end of the game, I'm giving it to Kobe.
Okay.
Offensively.
Great. That will lead. Kobe's a better 3-point shooter than LeBron.
Tough.
I'm willing to give you
Every
that.
other aspect.
I'm willing
No,
to give
Jim
you
made a
that.
great point about the
did?
expectations for LeBron earlier, being on the cover of SI. We've seen that with Bryce Harper, okay? He was on the cover of SI as a teenager. He's been great. I think he's already been the MVP, but Aaron Judge comes along out of nowhere. Aaron Judge is amazing.
right.
We love him. We're seeing Tom Brady,
We're missing the
6th-round
big
draft
point.
pick.
We're missing the big point, though. Listen, Michael Jordan is competitive, as everybody knows. He hates the whole, is LeBron better or as good as Jordan thing. And so this is, to me, is the ultimate insult.
Yeah.
You can't even get over my imitator, let alone be in the discussion with me. That's what he's saying here. You can't even, this is my knockoff. Like a Chanel knockoff bag or whatever. That's what Kobe is to
But
Jordan.
LeBron's story is not
better
written
than
yet.
that.
He still has more time to
Thank you.
pile on.
LeBron's
baby.
got 4 more titles to win.
One more, at least.
3.
Minimum.